In Chapter 7, we're going to take a look at working with shared documents. And there may be times when you work in a company where you have to exchange information with other employees, distribute documents to other members within that company. You may be part of a work group, and within that work group you may be networked to a collection of computers who share printing, files, and other resources. So there's all kinds of opportunities for you to possibly collaborate with other individuals within your organization. And when that happens, when those documents are being shared, there's always opportunities for, requirements to review and revise other documents. And so we're going to take a look in Chapter 7, some of the features that Word has that will help us to revise and provide suggestions to other users in their documents. We're going to begin by looking at the objectives that are on page 251. And you'll notice that we're going to start first of all with comments. We're going to learn to insert, edit, and delete comments. We'll learn also to track changes in a document and then customize that tracking. We'll learn to compare and combine documents. We'll display a document in web layout view as well as outline view. We'll assign levels in outline view. Then we're going to look at creating a master document and sub-documents. And then finally we'll look at opening a new window of the same document. If you'll notice on pages 252 250 through 254, you'll see the model answers for the projects that we'll be working on throughout the chapter. And we're going to begin in Project 1 by inserting and editing comments within a document. And just as a reminder, comments typically provide feedback and even offer suggestions as to changes that may be necessary in a document. You can send a document to someone else if you've created and ask for feedback, and they can make changes using the track changes feature, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the chapter. And you can also then provide comments as well. And so we're going to take a look at inserting those comments in our document. I've already opened the OMS new employees, document, and I haven't saved it yet, but they do request that we save it as Word Level 2 Chapter 7 Project 1. I'm not going to do that, but it's a good idea, as we've always said, to save that in a place so that you have your original file intact. We're going to begin by inserting a new comment at the end of the second paragraph of this new employee orientation section. So right after the period here, I'm going to space one time, and then I'm going to type in the word hours followed by the question mark, and then we're going to apply a comment to that new word. So I'm going to select it. Anytime you want to apply a comment, you need to select your text, and then comments are found on the Review tab, Comments group, and then New Comment. That'll bring in a balloon on the right hand side that allows us to enter in the comments that we want to make for that paragraph or groups of paragraphs. You can also insert comments in a task pane, a reviewing task pane, which we'll do in our next exercise or example. But for this one, we're inserting those into what they call balloons. So our comment is, please include the total number of orientation hours. Okay. And when you click outside of it, obviously it's set. Also notice here it's indicated as a comment. In that balloon, it also indicates what the user initials are. That's why AM comes up. But also if you lay your mouse on that balloon, it'll tell you when the comment was inserted and what time, the date that it was inserted. So you've got lots of information surrounding that comment. We're going to insert another comment, at the end of the last paragraph in this medical screenings group. So again, I'm going to space after it, type in the word locations. Then we're going to select that word, and again, click on New Comment, and it says specify the locations where drug tests are administered. So that's our second comment, again in balloon format. Okay. Now, as I mentioned previously, you can also insert your comments in the review pane or the reviewing pane rather than in these balloons. And that reviewing pane, go ahead and pull that up right now. The reviewing pane not only includes comments, but later on when we put in, when we track changes, those items will also appear in the reviewing pane. So like I said before, we'll look at track changes a little bit later in the chapter. This reviewing pane, you can also view it vertically or horizontally, whichever one you want. Right now we're looking at it vertically. If we look at it horizontally, you can see that it appears at the bottom. I'm going to leave it at vertical so it's on the left hand side. And then in Project 1B, we're going to take a look at inserting a comment using this reviewing pane. Now, I've already got the reviewing pane up, but if you'll go back to where it says show markup, we want to make sure that the balloons, we want to show all revisions in line rather than showing revisions in the balloons like we had before. Okay, so I'll select that. Alright, now the next comment we're going to insert in the introductory period section. And at the end of that, again, I'm just going to type once, type in maximum, question mark, and again, same process for selecting that word, and then new comment. Notice now the comment is over in here rather than in the balloon on the right hand side. Okay, and it just has please include in this section the maximum length. Okay, so as we're entering the comments, the difference is we're putting it in the reviewing pane rather than in the balloon on the right hand side. Okay, and then you can close the reviewing pane if you're done putting in comments just by clicking on the X there. And then in Project C, we're going to look at how we can navigate between comments. If you had several comments within your document, it's kind of nice to know these navigation buttons will take you to the beginning, or it'll take you to the previous comment and also the next comment. So we're going to utilize those as well as editing existing comments. So we're going to start by going to the very top of the document. I'm just going to press Control Home, and then we're going to use these navigation buttons. We're going to go to the next comment, which is the hours one. That's our first one. If you keep clicking on next, it'll go to that location in the document. And remember, there's just 3 there, so we'll be able to see all 3 comments. You can also, if you're on the third one, you can click Previous. That'll take you back up through the document. Okay? Alright, again, I'm going to close out of the reviewing pane. And then we're going to edit a comment in the balloon option. Now, first of all, we've got to change it back to balloons, okay? Because right now, we don't have any balloons on the right-hand side. Okay, so to get back to balloons, we're going to go back to the Show Markup, Balloons, and then Show Revisions in Balloons. And now we can see our comments on the right-hand side. And we're going to make a change to the one in the introductory period. And in that one, we're just going to add at the end here in parentheses, if any. So we're just making a real simple change, but the point here is you just click inside that comment box or in the balloon and you can make those changes. Alright, and then we're going to go back to the Show Markup. The balloons, they want it to be shown as inline back on the left hand side. So turn that back to the way it was previously. Okay, now as I mentioned before, there's user initials that are applied when you insert a comment, and if you need to change those, or if somebody else is using or providing suggestions, they would have their own set of user initials. And so they're just going to have us go through and make those changes to the user options, the username, and the user initials. And then we're also going to take a look at printing comments and deleting a comment in Project 1D. So First thing that we're going to do is change the user information. And to do that, that is found under the File tab, Options, and then it's in the General category here at the top. And then you'll notice username is my name in there, but they want us to change it temporarily to Taylor Stanton, TS for the initials. And then we'll just click OK out of that dialog box. And that takes us back to our document. And then we're going to insert another comment in the performance review area. And it's going to be at the end of the first paragraph for this. So again, we're going to type in a word, documentation, and we're going to apply a comment to that word. So again, I'm going to go back up to the new comment area and brings it up on the left hand side because we specified that earlier, and then provide okay. Alright, so we've added a new comment there. Notice the new initials pop in as well as the name that's associated there with the computer. Whatever the username, user initials are, that's what's going to pop in when you make a comment. Alright. Now, let's, I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. Now let's look at printing the information in the reviewing pane. And we want only that information to be printed. We don't want the document printed just yet, but we want to print only the information in the reviewing pane. Okay, to do that, obviously we go to the Print category under the File tab, and then Print. And in the Settings area, I click to the right of that. We're going to use this List of Markup Only. And by choosing that, and you're not going to really be able to tell this, just take my word for it, the only thing that's going to print would be your information, all your comments, and information regarding those comments. Okay? And that stays like that until you turn it back. So kind of have to keep in mind what you have selected there. And actually, I think I'm going to go, while I'm here, change that back just to print all pages. So that was the original, the default. So I'll leave that as is. Okay. Now to delete a comment, I'm going to go back to the Home tab here, go to the very top of the document, and we're going to delete the third comment. So to get to the third comment, one way to do that is to go back to the Review tab, and then we'll go to the Next. Next. That takes us to the first one. We're going to click on Next again. And actually, this is the one they want us to delete. Okay, so once it's selected, you can see it's selected and even shown here. What we'll do to delete it, in the Comments group, I'm going to click on Delete. And if you just click on the button, it'll delete just that comment. Notice also if you click on the drop-down box, you could delete all comments, which we don't want to do that. So I'm just going to click on the button itself. And that takes out the third comment. All right. Now they're going to have us close out the reviewing pane, changing back the user options. So I'm going back into the options area, general category, change this back to my name and my initials. And again, I'll click OK out of that dialog box.